So again, I have an upper ring and a lower ring that defines the cross section of my lower part of my bottle and the cross section of the upper part of my bottle. And then I have this profile on the left that basically defines one edge. And actually, let me select this profile as well and hide it. And then here on the right side, you see I have one hand drawn curve that, for example, should visualize the yellow profile I created in my sketch. So how did I, for example, create this one? Well, that curve, for example, is a very good application for using the EP curve, because with 3 points I can create that curve. So let me turn on the sketch, and I am, for example, starting at this edit point. So I press Control, click, you see it created then the first starting point right on that edit point. Then I go to front view, trying to judge somewhat where the middle part of my bottle is. Let's say here. Then I press middle mouse button. Oh, I have the grid turned on. So middle mouse button, and then position it right on the blue line. And then I can go back to my perspective view and look at the lower cross section of my bottle, press Control, and then click on the curve, not on the control point, but on the curve, and click on the EP point and place my third point. And then, as you can see, Alias created a curve with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 control vertices, but 1, 2, and 3 edit points. And if I would like, for example, to change the curvature a little bit, I could just go ahead, just click the edit point, going to transform, and then move, for example, that edit point around, and you see that the control vertices are updated automatically. But this way I only have kind of like 3 points, so I don't really distort my arc necessarily too much. That's, for example, one of the advantages of using the EP curve in contrast to using the control vertices curve. So that's basically the way how, for example, I created this curve. And let me delete this for a second. And you can see that this curve, basically, I sketched exactly the same way. Let me turn off the CV points so you can see my different edit points. I started here, placed a point, and then always put a point, so an edit point, right on the curve, on the top part or in the valley, and then snapped it back to the lower part. So maybe let's do this for a moment. Let's hide it. Go to the EP curve tool, control click, snap it to the edit point. Then I go into front view. And then I try to click always onto the yellow line and place my edit points. And then the last one, control and left click and position my last point. Because at this moment my handle part looks pretty good, but you can see that this curve up here has a curvature I don't really like at the moment. So I would have to go into the CV select mode, and then I'm going to select those control points and, for example, try to push this back a little bit. And what I'm trying to look for is somewhat a curve shape that is kind of like following my blue line, and then it slightly starts arcing in. So technically speaking, those 3 points I selected should be at best nearly on a line. So maybe like this, yeah, that's good. And here I have to do the same. So I move it over onto the blue line and maybe a little bit to there. And we can still adjust that afterwards, thanks to the construction history. Okay, so that is, for example, the way how I created the hand, the profile for the hand part. So let me show you the curves again. I deleted. But now, what is the whole point behind this and this, and then have all those other curves? Well, let me show you what happens when we use the rail surface.